Thanks. I know, me too. And some of them I know from Yale Seminary.
Yeah, I can read that, no problem.
Greg, do you need anything else?
No. Thank you. You know where that is?
Well, they were under here. Hey, Pat, do you know where the lighter is?
I can find it.
Yeah, they were both under here
Yeah.
the last.
We had to move everything.
Oh, for that service.
Where's China?
Oh, and the chimes, Pat. Wonder where that probably got moved yesterday too.
Thank you for being in a service later. It's but it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
So.
Like, I didn't even get a chance to work on this talk until this morning. It's been that kind of week. Oh, yeah. Yeah, at Faulkner conferences. It's over. Yes.
No, there's being this year.
Anniversaries. It was the 50th anniversary of the Faulkner Conference. 100th anniversary of the first printing of the Marble Fawn. 75th anniversary of I have one of the other books, I can't remember. 50th anniversary of the publication of the first real authorized biography of Faulkner. So, yeah.
I know I read the students. So 150th anniversary of something.
Yeah, 100th was the biggest anniversary in that, I think. And that was the printing of the Marble Fawn. Oh, that's cute. Yeah. The latest I heard was that she was admitted into hospice. Yeah, I mean, she was one of the co-directors for the Center for the Study of Southern Culture for many years. She was one of the early organizers of the Faulkner Conference for the book, a number of other things. But yeah, she had a stroke, I think with brain bleed. Yeah, I don't, last I heard was, yeah, she was in ICU in Tupelo and then hospice, I think maybe brain. I'm not functioning. I'm not sure. Yeah. Yeah. Not good, whatever it is.
Thank you. Very, very good.
Be related to the 100K that I missed. No,
No, dude.
at least get to see you.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be something where we don't have to do it, but yeah. Oh, yeah, you're good.
said you did play, or wait?
I will, I think so. I'll talk from there and then I think I'll just move over here.
From here to
Doesn't matter, yeah. No worries.
so we'll have a chance to get to play.
Yeah, that's no problem solved.
Our printer will only print one side.
There you go.
right, stand as you're able and join us in our gathering hymn number 36, When in Our Music. Okay. Welcome. If this is your first time here or your 101st time, we are glad you're here. If you carry a weight of a weary world on your shoulders, or you entered the doors with a song in your heart and a skip in your step, we are glad you are here. If you are the loudest voice in the town square, or the subtle hand behind the scenes, we are glad you are here. If you have failed once or 1,000 times, we are glad you are here. If you sing like angels or mumble behind the hymnal, we are glad you're here. This community is what it is because of your presence. So welcome. Welcome to the space of love, support, justice, compassion, fellowship, and worship. We are glad you're here in person or joining us on Zoom. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Oxford. My name is Roger Coonley, and along with Mary, we'll be your service leaders for this morning. This morning, we're pleased to have Greg Johnson here to present our message entitled Music's Role in Religion and Spirituality. This message relates most closely to Principle 4, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. And now, if you would, take a few minutes and greet your neighbors on either side and around you. There you go. So you've been running at both ends. Been busy.
I was thinking you should have started this whole thing in Gregorian chant style. Please stand as you are able. And you'll hear to sing hymn number 36.
That would have been interesting. But I don't know if I would. pretty good group today. So let's see, how long do I give it?
I don't know. Maybe, maybe we develop some, maybe some new people. Maybe they're not.
Oh, that's right. Are there some new people? You're right. I need to do that next. All right. I'm glad we're so happy to greet each other. Do we have any new people or first timers or new timers? Anyone? Not been here before?
Kyle is here. Kyle is a little nervous about being here. He's not really feel comfortable in places like this. But he's staying with us for a few weeks until the doors open up. And I thought he might like meeting.
Good. Welcome, Kyle. Do we have any others?
We were new 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. So if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself again?
I'm Doug Robinson.
I'm Lana or Svetlana Kaminska. I'm Agnes.
Agnes. Welcome.
Thank
We're
you.
glad you're here. Okay, I think, anyone else? I think that's all. All right. Announcements, I don't have any, so we can go on. But, oh, we do? Okay.
I didn't realize I had to put it in early.
Oh, that's fine.
I'll bring it up to you.
Sure. All right, this one comes obviously from Mary Caha. And on August 3rd, from 1 to 3 at the Conference Center, there'll be a Cannabis Wellness and Awareness Seminar. And many of us, of course, petitioned for this a little while ago. And there'll be 7 panelists, and there'll be a flyer on the entry table, correct? Yeah. So if you're interested in that, check out that flyer or see Mary Caha after the service. Anybody else have an announcement? Okay.
Sue, do you know when the Project 2025 panel is?
I
already forget.
August 6th, but don't hold me on that. But there is going to be a panel for 2025. Yes, locally with some of our local people who are knowledgeable about 2025 speak about the part that they don't.
Okay.
And I can give you more information.
I think it's not this Tuesday, the next Tuesday at like 5:30.
So,
at the school.
to repeat that, there'll be a panel on 2025, what? Week from
Project 2025.
Project 25, a week from Tuesday?
I believe so.
Okay.
Probably where?
The Stone?
Stone Center. Okay. All right.
The chalice here is the container, the space where the musicians and the listeners gather. The oil, or the candle in our case, is the fuel, the hours of practice and the life experiences of everyone in the room. The wick is the instruments and vocal cords through which the music will flow. And the flame is the music which is created as if by magic. When the instruments are lifted, the breath is inhaled, and the downbeat is nodded. May this flame ignite the music within us all. So now let's turn in your blue hymnals to 368. Now let us sing.
This might be one that, to reference earlier remarks, this might be one where we're going to be mumbling behind hymnals because I think it's unfamiliar and it's 2-part. I think for simplicity's sake, why don't you all just focus on the top line that you'll hear the bass part played in the piano. I will, if I feel everybody's singing well on the top part, I might jump down and sing the bass part. But let's stick with the top line so we don't all fall on our faces.
power of the hope within. Sing to the power of the hope within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the hope within. Sing to the power of the love within. Sing to the power of the love within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the love within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the joy within.
See, y'all did great. We didn't overcomplicate it. Y'all nailed it. Perfect.
Well, I have to tell you, Roger asked me, now, you think people know this song? I said, oh yeah, they sing it at the assembly every year. That's what I remember it from, and people really get into it. So we need to learn that one.
When Mary sent the order of service, I was at work. I'm like, oh yeah, that looks fine. I didn't have my head on, so sorry about that.
Well, we need to learn that. The Time for All Ages, y'all, is kind of a magic story. It comes to us from a North American indigenous people called the Cree. And in the story, there's kind of magic little people. And their name is the Memakwasiwak, which is hard for me to say, so I might just say the magic people. But anyway, okay, so this is called The Song That Called Them Home. On a clear day, in the middle of summer, Lauren and her little brother James went on a trip with their Moshem, and Moshem is the word for grandfather. It was a long journey, and when they arrived, Moshem fell asleep. While Moshem dreamed his dreams, Lauren's stomach began to rumble. She imagined a big fish they could all share, and she took James into a canoe to catch their supper. But Lauren had not paddled a canoe by herself before. So they drifted further and further from the shore. In the middle of the lake, James' fishing hook dove underneath the surface, while Lauren stirred the water to attract a fish. Suddenly, around them, there were little circles that got bigger and bigger. And then the circles rolled into waves that crashed against the canoe, rocking it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. The children tumbled overboard, and the swirling water pulled them in. And here you can see some of the magic people. And their job, according to tradition, is to rescue children that are in trouble in the sea. Lauren looked around for James, but didn't see him until he cried out. The magic people were taking him away, across the lake and through a waterfall. Lauren chased after them. Behind the waterfall, she found a portal to another place, a place she could not yet see, a place that made her whole body tremble. But she knew James needed her. So she took a deep breath in and then let it out, and she made herself calm. She squeezed between the rocks, swam down a long, dark tunnel, and went where the water went, right into the other side. Lauren followed the bends and the curves of the watery pathway, searching for James. She swam past thick green forests and under vast blue skies. And then she came to an island where she saw figures moving in a round dance and a fire with flames reaching to the stars. And there was James dancing his best, joined together with all the rest. Lauren tried to pull away, but instead found herself linking hands with the magic people. She began to move with the others right beside her little brother. They shuffled their feet, swung their arms, and danced along to the magic people's song. Way-oh hey, way-oh hey, way-oh hey, hey, hey. What a bright, beautiful summer day. Way-hey, way-hey, we don't want you to ever go. We want you to always stay. Way-hey, way-hey, what a beautiful place to call your home. Way-oh, way-oh, way-oh hey, way-oh hey, way-oh hey, hey, hey. They danced faster and faster for minutes that turned into hours that turned into days. They danced so long that Lauren forgot why she had come. But then they heard another song that sounded like distant thunder. Thump, 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 thump. Lauren stopped dancing to listen, and so too did James. The children could feel the drum in their chests, just like the beat of their hearts. The magic people let go of their hands and plunged into the water. Thump, 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 thump. Lauren and James danced once more toward the song, moving their feet to its familiar rhythm. Thump, 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 thump. They danced past thick green forests and under vast blue skies, and up they climbed towards the portal, and then in it. Thump, thump. They squeezed between rocks, swam down a long dark tunnel, and went where the water went, right into the other side. Thump, 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 thump. And you can see the hands of the magic people right there. Lauren and James swam back to motion. Who was waiting at the shore, singing and playing his drum, hoping that his grandchildren would one day come. That night they danced around a fire to the song that had called them home. Way-oh, hey, hey, way-oh, hey, hey, come back. The sun is falling. The soft white light will help you see. Come back, the moon is calling. How beautiful the night can be. Way-oh, hey, hey, way-oh, hey, hey, come back. You've been gone so long. What places have you found to roam? Come back. Hear my welcome song. My beating drum will guide you home. And that is the end. So, all right, and it is time for us now to take our offering. Tycho Jenkins will play for us. So freely have we received of gifts that minister to our needs of body and spirit. Gladly we bring to our congregation and its wide concerns a portion of this bounty. And this month, we are sharing half of the plate with the Mississippi Wildlife Rehab Organization, which is a nonprofit dedicated to taking care of orphaned or injured birds and other native species of wildlife in Mississippi. Okay, so we don't see any little purple cards in the basket that people filled out about their griefs or gratitudes. So if you think of one, just think for a minute. Roger and I are going to put the first stone in gratitude for being in this house of worship, and that we have the support of each other. Is there another? Yes.
Sure. Sorry, I forgot to bring a pin. But last Sunday was my 30th birthday, and we had friends in town, and we had an improv show, which some of you came to, and I appreciate. So it was a very good week last Sunday. So it's my gratitude.
Yes, Mary.
I am in great gratitude for our planet, that our planet needs help. So let's all send it positive energy and also physical work to help. And today, 62 years ago, I became a mother.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. Anybody else? Yes, James.
Gratitude for the rain.
And the cloudy skies.
Yeah.
So it's cooler. Yeah. This reminds me, what Mary said reminds me of this. So the Cree people, they call the earth Thunder Island. And we have this little, it could be a chalice as well. So anyway.
I got one to share too.
Yes, Shannon?
I think I've just had so much going on in my life that it's hard for me to even sit still and be able to share for a moment. My grandmother passed away, and I know you all reached out to me, and I just want to thank you all so much, and just keep us in your thoughts. Thank you.
Yes.
So it's hard for me to even say this in public, but, and it doesn't mean as much to other people. My son has gone through a very hard time. The separation, being very far away from everybody.
Yeah. And he's in Norway? Yeah. Very far. So let's remember Ken's son. Right. And our last pebble is for all the unspoken griefs and joys. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. We hardly do need to introduce Greg. But if you don't know, the archives in the university library, Greg is the director of the archive special collections. It's called, he's also the blues curator and a professor on campus, and a co-author of a book called 100 Books Every Blues Fan Should Own.
That means you all, so go out and buy it.
We know him best maybe from one of the organizations that he plays for, and that's the North Mississippi Symphony Orchestra. We aren't going to be able to go this season, so y'all need to go in our place because they do just a wonderful job. They play in Tupelo. Used to be called the Tupelo Orchestra. But I think Greg is best known for the joy he brings here with his music and his words. So, Greg, it is yours.
I'm going to do a quick short reading now. These are words by Reverend Arlen Goff, who has actually spoken here at UUCO many years ago, sometime pre-pandemic, I don't know, in the before times. This is called Music Arises. Music arises from depths unknown, often without words, but never without meaning. And spirit rises from deep within us, seducing our body to join the song, First, a tremor in the soul, then tapping of toes. Breath aligns with breath, heartbeats in syncopation, and a stuttering buzz in our throat becomes a hum. Breath with breath, beat with beat, and music and spirit arise together. Wed with faith and hope and love and power, a song is born, bursting from our lips in sweet, sonorous symphony. A melody joining with other souls, perhaps in tune, perhaps not, but a song still, arising from deep within and from community. Spirit moves, soul births song, and hope fills life, and we are not alone. How can we keep from singing? Just going to play a few notes on this before I get into the talk. What would our Sunday services be like without music? What role does music play in your expression of spirituality, in your life? Do the lyrics or the music resonate more with you? Do you get annoyed when the text of old hymns is modified in our UU hymnals? Other congregations modify their hymns as well, so don't feel bad. So, yeah, when you're listening to a song, you more of a words person or a music person? For me, for the longest time, I was definitely more of a music person. It wasn't until like maybe 10 years ago. I mean, I've always paid attention to the lyrics, but I was like, who cares about words? I would listen to these songs, not even really knowing what the song was about. I'm just resonating with the vibrations of the actual music. That's what's always been primary for me. Have you ever met anyone who doesn't listen to music? I'm not talking about somebody who doesn't have a favorite genre, but someone for whom music doesn't do anything for them. I've met one person in my life, literally, this guy, he told me he never listens to any music, doesn't, of any genre, anything. He's like, just doesn't care about it at all. And just, to me, I can't mentally process that. But I understand, we're all different. I find that fascinating. Music is such a key part of my experience in life. It's hard for me to conceive of the world without it. What role does music play in a religious or spiritual context for you? I think, for me, I grew up in the Christian Church. Disciples of Christ was the denomination I grew up in. And I was always resonating with music. Even though I did get kicked out of children's choir, apparently I was so obnoxious climbing over and under chairs. I was a general nuisance to everyone there, so I got the boot. Who knew that all these years later music would be such a key part of my life? When I was when I was studying music history before I went into library science, I wrote a thesis on the Estonian composer Arvo Pärt, analyzing his work Litany. I mean, his music is steeped in the Russian Orthodox tradition, and I very much resonated with his musical sensibilities and sense of spirituality, even as I was drifting away from sort of Christian roots, I'm still very much drawn to these sonorous expressions in music, particularly of Parrott. So music plays key roles in religious traditions all over the world. Here in America, most of us are familiar with music's use in various Christian denominations. Some religions and denominations don't use any instruments at all. Some in the Church of Christ don't have any type of instruments. It's only vocal, only singing, stating that they have no authority from God to use mechanical instruments in a church service. Very much like here at UUCO, the piano or organ is the primary instrument associated with most Christian services. To this, others often add, praise bands of guitars, bass, violins, horns, you name it. Others even have full orchestras. Some of the mega churches. To some, it's the role of music is more contemplative in the service. Others, it's more akin to attending a rock concert. I'm not saying one is better than the other. They're just different expressions musically. For me, I'm a little put off by, people coming in on the zip lines and like pyrotechnics and, that seems a little silly to me, but other people that they really resonate with that, and they do not resonate at all to what they would consider boring, contemplative, meditative music. It takes a lot of different types of people to make the world go around, I guess. Music can be used to manipulate emotional responses, certainly in religious services, from the pianist playing really softly behind a prayer, getting down, if the preacher's getting down to a quiet part, and then building, this huge crescendo, building up to this ecstatic joy where people's hands are in the air and you're having this really praise moment. This is theater. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's always been this way. The medieval church had lots of theatrics involved in music, just in different forms. One could almost ascribe a type of magic to music. What else, other than maybe really good drugs, can affect people's emotions so greatly without necessarily using any words? In this sense, Christian praise music, with everyone raising their hands in the air, isn't that dissimilar to Hindu kirtan music, religious devotional praise music? Substitute different deities, different musical scales and rhythms, but the effect is essentially the same. In some cultures, music really does take on an almost magical role. Think about like rain dances. Maybe somebody did one recently to finally break us from this drought we've been under. Or other ritualistic uses of music combined with dance in some Native American traditions. One of the indigenous instruments of the Shona people of Zimbabwe is an instrument called the mbira. It's a thumb piano. In other cultures, it's called a kalimba. Lots of names for it. One writer, an ethnomusicologist writing about the Shona and the mbira, they talk about, this is a quote now, when an mbira player plays his instrument, he is conversing with a friend. He teaches his friend what to do, and his friend teaches him what to do. To begin with, the mbira player plays the basic pattern to the mbira. He plays it, and the mbira helps him produce the sound. He goes over and over playing the same pattern, happy now that his fingers and the mbira keys are together. So he stops thinking about what to play and starts to listen to the mbira very carefully. So these mbiras are often used in these all-night rituals called biras. These are often events where the Shona people enter into trance-like states to communicate with their ancestors. And one of the ways to communicate with the ancestors is playing a tune. Like if you want to get in touch, maybe your grandfather was a very good farmer and you know that he dealt with past experiences of great drought in the village, like kind of like what we were having recently. And Grandpa knew what to do. You might have this ritual all night. You're playing music, you're dancing, you are getting into the trance-like state. You play this melody that Grandpa knew, and you play this long enough, play it exactly. You have to be very specific on the melody, and you can't just start improvising. It's got to be specific to the Shona people. Your grandfather's spirit in the other world will recognize the melody and draw closer, and you can communicate and ask questions of things like, how do we deal with this drought? How did you deal with it, grandfather? Or if it's a wartime situation, asking advice of the ancestors through music. It's pretty fascinating. Whether or not you believe that to be true or not, irrelevant. What's important is that many people do believe of the power of music to have these almost magical qualities. If all of this seems foreign, let's think of something even closer. To many, sports is a form of religion, particularly during football season. As you certainly see it, if it's a Super Bowl Sunday or, everybody's looking at their watches, the preacher's going to be subservient to the game. He's going to let football wins for many people in these cases, overshadowing even religion. In these cases, sometimes fight songs take on almost a religious anthem kind of experience at these events, inspiring pride and getting people riled up and excited for the game. Music really is quite powerful. Think about the use of music in soundtracks to film. Do you know how comical the scene of like Elliot and E.T. flying in front of the moon is without John Williams' score under that? It looks very silly. Maybe you think it looks silly anyway. Sometimes you just go watch The Shining, Kubrick's film, without the music of Penderecki and Ligeti, creating all that just dissonance and tension and creepiness in the background. It's like, oh, this could be a comedy. Regardless of your beliefs on actual magic and whether music is a form of it, it is quite clear that music holds great power. If you want to break a people's spirit, break off access to their cultural traditions. One tactic used by a lot of colonizing forces, those conquering other peoples, is to cut them off from their traditions, including music. Getting back to the example, I was talking about Zimbabwe earlier. When it was Rhodesia, after it had been colonized, people were forbidden to play the mbira. People were not allowed to sing, in the Shona indigenous languages. And this is a way of, if you want people to get in line behind your conquering ways of doing things, prevent them from having access to their cultural traditions, including music. The people in Zimbabwe had a lot of underhanded means of taking those mbira melodies and just incorporating them onto guitars and other things that were acceptable to their conquerors. There's many examples of this. Around 1650, Oliver Cromwell ordered the destruction of Irish harps. This is a way, because in many ways this is stop these Irish cultural identity issues, cut that off, but also the harp players were often historians, and a lot of in Africa as well. The griots, they served as these bards. Bards don't always mean people who just play music. They're the rememberers of cultural history of a people. Often people remember things through song, like histories of people, lineages, and was sometimes used. There are many traditions of harp players remembering a whole history of a whole people through song. So if you can eliminate them, you've eliminated a huge part of a culture's history, and you have a better chance of trying to control them. In the late 70s, early 80s, there were a number of, in 79, in the Iranian Revolution, there's a fatwa, an edict going out, all music in Iran, no music is legal. Now that's excluding the calls to prayer, even that's definitely music, but that's not considered music in that, by the Islamic clerics in that sense. You know, I mean, songs like the Clash's song "Rock the Casbah" that came out of that sort of tradition. An entire album, Joe's Garage by Frank Zappa, envisions a dystopian future where all music has been made illegal, and that was directly inspired by music being made illegal in Iran. Plantation owners in America forbade drumming by those that they had enslaved. Now, part of that was to break their spirits, but also it was to quell potential uprisings, because there were some well-known uprisings in South Carolina where drums were used to communicate, to signal to all the people that we're now going to rise up against the enslavers. There's a whole tradition of talking drums in various parts of Africa where you can, you know, bass drum sort of frequencies travel over long distances. So it's in a way before these, you can communicate with people over long distances. The flip side to all of this, these oppressing people in their music, is that music is often served as a form of resistance to oppressive regimes and practices. Freedom songs and the civil rights movement gave a sense of unity and commitment to the cause, with activists all singing together, singing songs like "I Shall Not Be Moved," "Ain't Nobody Gonna Let Turn Us Around," "We Shall Overcome." Archaeologists have discovered years ago this ancient bone flute fragment that dates back at least 82,000 years and has very strategically bored holes in these bones. People have used 3D imaging, scanning, and recreated in 3D printing to recreate some of these bone flutes from this old. We have no idea what type of music was made or for what occasions. Was music only used for music's sake the entire time? Or has it always been used for means other than purely like entertainment? I believe that's probably the case. Depending on your beliefs, music can help us connect with the divine, or maybe just causes certain synapses to fire, releasing chemicals into our brains. Whatever is happening, it's clear that music can elicit powerful emotional responses. Some people I know only cry when they experience music. They can watch horrific news, they can have a loved one die, and they mask all the time. But the one time they can't, sometimes music breaks down all of that. And that's sometimes just hearing certain melodies. I don't know if you experience, sometimes I just hear the beginnings of a piece and I have this sense I just feel like crying, It's fascinating. Where does that come from? What's happening here? What is it about sound waves vibrating into our ear canals that can elicit such powerful responses? I know two people, and there are many more, but two people I know personally that aren't religious at all. In fact, they'd probably call themselves born-again atheists, who sing in church choirs solely because they love the sounds of the hymns and anthems that they're singing. To them, the words are meaningless, or they even find the words offensive, but they sing along because they love the music. Former editor of the British newspaper The Guardian, Alan Rusbridger, in a conversation with religious historian Karen Armstrong, said that he doesn't attend church that often, but that he does play piano every day as a quasi-spiritual practice. There's the reward of physically playing an instrument, where after the discipline pays off and the physical action of playing itself becomes joy. But there's also the act of making music that brings you into the present moment, very much like whirling dervishes experiencing sort of spinning ecstatically. Sometimes when I'm playing music, I enter an almost trance-like state. The act of playing, hearing, and feeling music pulls me outside of a sense of linear time. I've gotten into the zone before where hours have passed by, leaving me with no sense of how long I've been playing music. I'm brought back into awareness, usually by one of the dogs comes up and starts pawing at me like, I've got to pee. Let me, or my back starts hurting because I realize I've been sitting in some weird position playing whatever else. I'm like, oh, I need to probably stop and take a break. In a blog post titled, "Why is Music a Religious Experience?" Michael Graziano, professor of neuroscience at Princeton, muses about the source of his relationship to music, stating, "Many people, myself included, experience a religious type awe when listening to certain pieces of music. What exactly is the relationship between music and religion, and where in the brain does that commonality emerge? He goes on to state, "I am an atheist, and yet I have an empathy for religion. Intellectually, I do not think there is a literal God. Emotionally, I am not anti-religious. One of the reasons why I feel an emotional empathy for religion is that it reminds me of my attitude toward music." He goes on to write about music as a cultural phenomenon and its uses to cement communities, giving a sense of unity and purpose in the civil rights movement, instilling a sense of national unity, etc. He continues, quote, "Yet something else harder to put into words, something that goes beyond cultural impact, unites music and religion. When I am listening to certain pieces of music, I feel a reverence creeping over me, an awe that has a spiritual quality." He continues, "I do not see any contradiction between my scientific atheism and my emotional reverence. I am a biological being subject to the same emotions and affinities as others. In complexity, the human brain tends to see intentionality. We are, after all, social animals. We evolved to be social beings, to look at the complex pattern of behavior of others and infer a mind state, a personality, a persona. When we encounter complexity, the social machinery in the brain is engaged. It generates hypothetical mind states and intentions and attributes them to the complex entity. It is an automatic reaction. We can't help the impulse." He goes on to bring this process to music, stating, "When I listen to Mozart, I believe what is happening could be described as follows. Certainly I admire the man. Any person who could create great music has my admiration. I also admire the music. But that intellectual admiration and admiration for the craftsmanship is not the same as spiritual awe. Something else happens. In the deep logic of the music, I sense a presence. My brain generates a mind state, a persona, and attributes it to the music. Not the mind of Mozart the man, but a kind of soul that invests that particular piece. The piece has a persona. It has a palpable spirit, and I feel as though I can have a personal relationship to that spirit. The social, interpersonal, emotional machinery of my brain has been recruited. My brain is treating the music like a universe of complexity and investing that universe with its own deity, for whom I feel some measure of awe and reverence. My relationship to the music is, in the most fundamental sense, the same as a religious relationship to the real world." Now, I don't pretend to know why music can unlock deep memories in people suffering various forms of dementia, why it can bring a tear to an otherwise dry eye, or why I spent every last cent of my lunch money in high school buying music. I do know that it has the power to heal. I remember at the height of the pandemic, when we were on lockdown, I remember seeing some videos of people playing music and singing from balconies in various cities where, we were so fortunate when I'm out in the county, I could just walk around and do whatever I want. I wasn't in some densely populated area where you really were locked down. People making music from balconies and seeing people from other balconies join in and playing along on an instrument. I remember Yo-Yo Ma posting these songs of comfort and hope on social media during this time. The music had such a profound effect on me and many others suffering during this time. So I want to take just a few brief moments for musical meditations of sorts. There's no agenda here. There's nothing specific for you to think on. Just want you to relax in your chairs. I'm going to play some music in a moment and experience the music. You can close your eyes if you want, keep them open, not important. As a transition, maybe let's just focus on our breathing for just a moment. Just focus on the feeling of the in-breath. Air coming past the bridge of your nose when you're breathing in. Exiting as you breathe out. I'll tone the chime to bring us back in this moment. I see some of you look like as though you may have dozed off into deep slumber. So if any of you have little ones, you need me to come over and get a crying baby to sleep, you know, I can, for the right price. I'm just kidding. So the piece I just played, that was it was a 14th century composition. We don't know the composer, anonymous Italian composer. This is Lamento di Tristano. It's based on the story of Tristan and Isolde. So I hope just that brief moment gave a little example. I think I did, knowing that some of you definitely look like you were lulled to sleep, and some of you still haven't come out of it yet. Maybe music does have some magical qualities, just to take us out of space and out of our normal routines. Maybe there's something about musicals and everybody bust into song and dance. I don't know. There's something about music to just shift gears a little bit in our brains. So now, I think Roger's going to come forward and release the chalice fund.
Thank you, Greg.
Oh, thanks.
All right, I'd like to release the, whoops, do it over here. As flame is to spirit, so spirit is to breath, and breath to song. Although we extinguish the flame in this sanctuary, may we hold it in our hearts until we meet again. All right, please stand as you're able and join us in our closing hymn in the Teal hymn book, number 1059, May Your Life Be as a Song.
Even though this is written to be done as a round, let's just sing it all together and let's do it through, I think we do it through 3 times. Yeah.
I'll play through, so 4 technically, once you can.
Yeah. Right.
Join us in our closing circle. All right, our closing words are go in peace, believe in peace, create peace, and be peace.
Go in peace, believe in peace, create peace, and be peace.
There's donuts and coffee back here.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, so you're.
Yeah, that's right. So at the end of the I was director for English. So he did, but also we brought Russian writers in the library. Adam Gustav did blues things in the library. I think you were somehow involved in that, right?
Probably was.
Is he still in the English program?
Yes.
Yeah, you're still in the library.
So at the time, I was just head of the blues archive. Now I'm going to start that and all of that.
All special. I am in